Good morning, doctor. So I'm not 100% sure that this is even needed at this point because I think you understand what I'm referring to now, um, but still are kind of denying that it means anything. I don't know, but I did want to respond with the video clip that I promised from last night before I went to sleep. I do want to set the stage here because I feel like that's important. This whole thing got started by you inviting everyone to read and sign the Antioch Statement, which was released yesterday. In response to that, Samuel Jimenez here on X said, "You should be ashamed of yourself for having participated in the slander of Joel Webbon." Dr. White, you respond that Samuel should be ashamed of himself for coming to that conclusion based upon internet randos' partial information and refusal to wait until a response has been posted. Samuel then responds, "Sorry, I don't know Greek. I do know you threatened to name names with one side of the story and the same amount of equal partial information as I had." And then, Dr. White, this is where you respond, "Where did I threaten to do this?" Referring to where Samuel said you threatened to name names. And then you say, "References, please," or are you just believing whatever net proxies looking for clicks say? You are batting 1,000 for going on partial information and coming to errant conclusions. So this is where I stepped in, Dr. White, because I felt like I should probably provide the references and also show that it's not internet randos that are doing this. I'm a person, and my name is Adam. And so I was just trying to help, and I said, he's referencing your own program, The Dividing Line. This is close to the quote referring to Joel Webbon of Right Response Ministries. The reason why I said it was close to the quote is because I wasn't 100% sure my memory was exactly accurate, but it was basically accurate. And so I quoted, "This is close to the quote, and don't make me name names because I will!" exclamation point. And then I further explained, again, just to be helpful so you remember what we're talking about, your facial expression at this point in the video appeared serious. Then I said, the larger context of the quote involved you explaining why people should leave Joel's church if he did not excommunicate the man responsible for the Holocaust meme. If that's not enough reference to help, I'd be happy to clip the video and share it here, so just let me know. Then you responded, "Yes, please do," referring to me clipping the quote from his own video. And you say, "Please do, since I never said that, and I think you should know that." And so then I told him I was going to bed and I'd do it in the morning. So that's what this is. Now, I do want to say one thing, and just in the interest of accuracy, I'm basically 100% right about everything I say here. But one thing I do want to clarify is that the quotation, which we'll see in a moment, he doesn't say people should leave Joel's church if he didn't excommunicate the man, but rather he said if he didn't put him under church discipline. Now, in our, when you're just talking to people, oftentimes church discipline and excommunication are used interchangeably, but it's not exactly the same thing. And so, in the interest of accuracy, I do want to say that, if I could rewrite the tweet, I would say if he did not church discipline the man. But excommunication is close enough, and of course, we all know because we all understand how this works that excommunication is a part of church discipline, again, assuming there's no repentance and all of this kind of thing. So it's a part of church discipline. It's not exactly the same thing. The part is not the same as the whole. But when we're just talking, obviously, these terms are used interchangeably, and everybody kind of understands what is meant by that. But I did want to clarify that in the interest of accuracy. And so, James, I'm going to play a large clip. It's not just the part where you say, "Don't make me name names," where you threaten to name names, because I will. It's not just that part, but it includes that part. But I think the larger context matters. And so here we go. This is from an episode of your own program from July 31st of this year. And it's titled, "Another Road Trip DL from Colorado."
Insane conspiracy theory that the Jews were behind everything. Well, it's happening again
He was talking about the original
on
World War
American
II
college
Holocaust.
campuses and evidently in Reformed churches. And I am thankful that Doug was addressing it and taking heat for it. And I'm sure I'll take heat for saying this. And I'll look any Reformed man in the eye who would laugh at that meme, and you need to repent. You need to be put under church discipline. If you're in a position of leadership, you need to step down now. Now. Don't make me name names, because I will. This is disgusting. It is an indication that even men who have well-known ministries can lose balance over time. And I'm, again, thankful that Doug is taking a stand, and many others as well, I hope and pray. But if you start seeing this kind of stuff in your church, don't be silent about it. Go to the elders. And if the elders don't care about it, get out of there as fast as you can. Because that's a church in name only. It's lost its way. It's lost its way. Now, I'm not sitting here going, oh, I agree with everything Israel does.
All right, that's the relevant portion of this. A couple things that I'd like to just point out, and it's ridiculous that I have to do this, but it's just is what it is. Number one, you hear him specifically reference Doug Wilson's blog post on the meme. The meme in question is definitively the meme that we're talking about with Joel Webbin's church. And then you hear the quotation, which I got essentially exactly right. I don't know, maybe the punctuation's off or something like that. Don't make me name names. Very serious look, because I will. With a very, kind of dramatic pause after that. And so what I've seen James say is that he didn't even know this was necessarily about Joel Webbin, and he was just saying, don't make me name names. I don't know, I guess rhetorically. But that's very weird because, presumably if somebody's saying, don't make me name names, that means he has the name top of mind. You know what I mean? Don't make me name names, because I will means that you can name names. Otherwise, what is the rhetoric? What purpose does the rhetoric serve? But also, even more so than that, if you continue to listen along with me, he also starts referencing, this just goes to show you that even people with, well-known ministries can lose balance. And this is right around the same time where he talks about leaving the church, not only leaving the church if the pastor doesn't do anything about this or, in his words, care about it, but leave quickly, leave right away, essentially, is what he's saying. But the thing is, he knows enough about the name of the person that he knows they have a well-known ministry, a public ministry. And so, I mean, I suppose it's within the realm of possibility that you knew it was a big name ministry, but didn't know that it was Joel Webbin. I can't say that that's impossible, but then at that point, you are still threatening to name names, even though you don't know the name. Now, I personally don't believe that you didn't know the name. I think you did know full well that you were talking about Joel Webbin, which you were talking about whether you knew it or not. Whether you knew it or not. See, this is what's important about this. Whether or not you knew that it was Joel Webbin, you knew you could find out. And in this clip, you are threatening to find out and name names. Again, assuming you didn't know, which is kind of what you're saying right now. So, Dr. White, I believe that suffices here, because here you tell Samuel Jimenez, where did I threaten to name names? References, please. That's the reference. So the reference is you threatened to name names. And again, I'm going to give you a lot of leeway here and say maybe you didn't know, which, I don't believe that, but maybe you didn't. But even if you didn't, this is where you threatened to name names, in this clip on your own show. And so I think that suffices. Dr. White, I don't understand why this is important to you, to pretend like you didn't name names and that I didn't have the clip of you doing it. and then and it all really seems to be intended to have people not trust me, right? But the thing is, I'm sure there's other ways to have people not trust me, and I'm okay with that. But the thing is, this one was so easily disprovable. Like it's easy to not to prove that you're not right here. I just don't understand what's the payoff for this one. What's the payoff for this deception? I don't understand. I really don't. This seems like a very like I can understand when somebody stretches the truth or lies or misinterprets something or misframes something. When there's a payoff to it, I mean it's not right, but I could at least understand where it's coming from. This one doesn't seem to have any payoff whatsoever. And so you'll notice I didn't say that you did name names at that point. I said you threatened to name names at this point. That's exactly what Samuel said as well. And so, I mean, you might think that I'm an internet rando and what is the other one? Net proxy looking for clicks. And that's okay if that's your characterization of me. I mean, I really can't do anything about that. But in this case, whether or not I'm random or a proxy or just looking for clicks, I'm right and you're wrong. I've provided the video proof that I said I would. You said it didn't exist. I just I'm concerned that you're really angry and you're letting your anger get the best of you. You're making mistakes and you're very sloppy right now. In fact, yesterday, Dr. White, I don't know if you saw the video, but you attributed to me again without naming me. So it's tough to really talk about these things because you just don't have enough respect for your own audience or for me to name me. But you said that I told Scott Anil to delete his account and resign and leave the ministry. You're just acting irrationally here. I didn't say he should resign or leave the ministry. I did say he should delete his account, which you might not like, but it's a meme. It's a way to get him to admit the truth, basically. Obviously, he's not going to delete his account. And if he did, I mean, I don't think many people would shed tears, but you're just not being careful. You know what I mean? And it certainly seems like the carelessness that you're showing is all designed. It's all part of a plan to just mudsling at guys like me and other people that you don't particularly care for. It's not a good look. I mean, people make mistakes, and everyone can understand that. But number one, when the mistakes are never admitted, and you just kind of dig your heels in and move the goalposts and stuff, that becomes something more than just a mistake. And then the other thing is when the mistakes all happen in one direction, you know what I mean, where there's mercy only for your team, and then there's nothing but mudslinging and vitriol and sloppy mistakes, putting words in people's mouth towards the other direction. We've seen this so many times. You know, the mistakes in the media always go against the Republicans. We understand what that's about. It's because it's not really mistakes. It's just they want to destroy the other side, right? That's what's going on here, I think. I don't think you make these kinds of mistakes with your friends, but you make them regularly with people that you don't care for, which I guess I'm included in that, which legitimately doesn't make me feel happy. You know, I don't like being disliked by you. It's not my thing. But I've come to accept my position. You know what I mean? And that's the reality. I've come to accept my position. You are practicing friend-enemy distinction, and I'm not a friend from your perspective. Dr. White, I am your friend, and I think that you really need to take a step back, a good look in the mirror. Why is it that why are you making me do this? That's the thing. Why are you making me do this? Why are you making me so easily show that what you said, you'd never said, you obviously and publicly and everybody knows that you said? Like, why offer me that opportunity? I don't understand. But I am trying to be helpful, and maybe you just forgot. I don't think that you did, but maybe you did. And so these clips hopefully will settle this issue. You most definitively threatened to name names. And before I finish, let me just get this clear, regardless of whether you knew the name when you made the threat, you made the threat. And it still counts. And whether you had to do some work to figure out the name before you could make good on your threat or not, that is all irrelevant. The threat was made. You knew it was a big ministry. You knew you could get the name if you wanted to. I think you already had it, but let's just give you the credit, all the credit in the world. You still made the threat that here you told Samuel and me and the entire internet that you never made. Dr. White, this is something that you could gain a little bit of credibility back and say, you know what, I was wrong. I did make the threat. And if you're sorry for the threat, you can say sorry. I don't think you are, because in future dividing lines, you kind of double down on this and you say that you were serious and all of this kind of stuff. And this is another thing that I feel like I'll point out before I wrap up. Before you made the threat, Dr. White, you said, this is going to get me in trouble, or this is going to get me, this is going to, cause a problem. Like, you knew ahead of time before you made the threat. You introduced the threat by saying, I know what the reaction is going to be like to this, essentially. I don't remember the exact quote, but it was there. You can go back and you can listen to it yourself. You knew this was a big thing to say. And so I just don't get why you would feel the need to pretend like you didn't say it. In any case, Dr. White, I hope you found this helpful. God bless.